Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Real Estate Redefined, a web series brought to you by Cisco's Hybrid Work Center of Excellence team. My name's Murray, and I'm joined by my colleagues Ansar and Ryan in delivering this episode to you today. In our sixth episode of the web series, we will be discussing the role of Catalyst Center. As a recap of the previous episodes, we've discussed how to deliver an intelligent space, converged network architecture, energy networking, Cisco switching infrastructure, and the Cisco wireless infrastructure. For those returning visitors, thank you so much for continuing to watch and learn from our web series. We hope these episodes are helping you and your colleagues understand what is possible with technology and what the future may hold for the built space. For those who are just joining us for the first time, please make sure to check out our YouTube to watch the previous episodes in this series. Now let's jump into episode 6. In today's episode, we are going to be discussing the role of Catalyst Center. We will be breaking this down into 4 categories that encompass the different features within Catalyst Center. The categories are NetOps, AIOps, SecOps, and DevOps. Ansar, can you start us off with a high-level view of Catalyst Center?
Thank you, Murray. In today's digital landscape, enterprise networks are vital. They serve as a backbone, enabling seamless communications, critical processes, and meeting rapidly changing organizational demands. Users nowadays expect high mobility, uninterrupted connectivity, and seamless application experience, regardless where or how they are connected. And it has come to a situation almost like every company is seeking simpler, more flexible operational methods. However, the continuous digital expansion, growing cloud use, and shift to remote as well as hybrid work model brings new challenges. Workspaces are being reimagined to prioritize user experience, employee health, sustainability, and also data-driven decision making. This transformation drives more and more convergence of the IT and OT network requirements, resulting in increased connected endpoints and also the need to re-architect numerous products as well as platforms. From a networks standpoint, in the past, designing, discovering, and provisioning devices such as like routers, switches, and wireless access points and controllers was a manual task, time-consuming task. Well, many of you might have experienced the tedious task of configuring and troubleshooting network devices through device-specific web UI or CLIs, or typing and copy-pasting commands from Notepad or Excel, and also manually creating network drawings for every single site in your enterprise network. And also the need for you to log into multiple applications to gain full visibility into the health and performance of your network devices, applications, and end users. While these methods might have actually kind of worked for your smaller deployments, they really became time-consuming and error-prone when you're dealing with the large quantities of network locations as well as devices. Many organizations have leveraged various open standard and or in-house developed tools to overcome these challenges, and then up to an extent automated many of these tasks. However, with the high scale, rapidly evolving technological demands and the trends, the traditional approaches often really fell short. For example, the increasing demand requires more than the ability for you to just automating the onboarding as well as provisioning of the network devices. It also requires you to involve proactively scaling the networks, being able to resolve network outages as well as security incidents much faster with the AI-powered diagnostics as well as remediation tools, and also being able to utilize extensive amount of workflows, tools, and reports to ease your configuration tasks, and also automate maintenance tasks, and an ability to use APIs for integrating your management platforms with several other tools, including your ticketing systems. Cisco management platforms such as like Catalyst Center and Meraki Dashboard offer these solutions, providing you a unified interface to streamline the management of your Cisco infrastructure. They enhance performance, security, and support your business goals. And in this episode, our main focus is on the Cisco Catalyst Center platform, and it is a robust network management platform that leverages AI to connect, secure, as well as automate your network operations planning across various locations, including headquarters, branches, and campuses. Serving this platform as a central hub for managing your day-to-day network task through a single pane of glass, it really offers all the necessary features as well as customization options, making it really an ideal choice for your enterprise level wired, wireless, IT or OT network infrastructure. Its main objectives include you simplifying the overall operations, enhancing that user experience, and accelerating the digital agility and ensuring cybersecurity, and also promoting the sustainability, meeting all those criteria that I told earlier. From a deployment standpoint, this can offer flexible options. It can be deployed either on a hardware appliance on-premises or as a virtual appliance in the AWS public cloud. At Cisco, we remain dedicated to building the best on-premises solutions, but we also believe that most organizations could benefit from a cloud-first automation strategy in at least some part of their business. If your organization requires a fully cloud-managed solution, Meraki Dashboard is the answer. However, the decision you're making between the platforms really depends on your specific needs as well as the preferences. Furthermore, with the latest capabilities on the Meraki Dashboard, you can now monitor as well as manage selected models of Catalyst devices through the Meraki dashboards while you're still keeping others on premises managed via the Catalyst Center. Whether you are using on-premises, cloud-based management, or both, Cisco Networking Cloud Vision is our commitment to helping transforming your infrastructure by unifying all management applications under the Cisco networking, such as like Meraki, Thousand Eyes, Cisco Catalyst Center, to act as one. It allows you to explore management with both models, bringing together campus, branches, data center, compute, IoT, SD-WAN, and more, everything under a single pane of glass.
Thanks, Ansar. Looking at the 4 categories I outlined earlier, there are certain types of features we consider under the umbrella of each. NetOps features are focused on automation of typical workflows to streamline and simplify network management tasks. AIOps is all about proactive optimization so that end users have a seamless and consistent experience in your environment. SecOps features focus on Cisco's Zero Trust methodology. And last but definitely not least, DevOps is centered around making integrations with third-party systems simple and easy. Though it's not one of our main topics today, it's worth noting that Catalyst Center also empowers your field techs as the first-line support staff to easily troubleshoot and resolve issues should they arise. Under NetOps for the episode today, we will be focusing on features that enhance efficiency. The features we will be talking to or providing a demo of are zero-touch onboarding, SWIM, device refresh for iOS XE devices, and configuration monitoring and compliance reporting. Within AIOps, we will be speaking about event analytics, SSID monitoring, and PoE analytics. The SecOps section will be focused on LAN automation enhancements and policy management for connected devices. And then finally, under DevOps, we will speak to the types of APIs available from Catalyst Center. Now I'll pass it over to Ryan to start the discussion on NetOps features.
Thanks, Murray. So if we look at some of the challenges that are faced in today's environment, it's device refreshes. We're looking at replacing switching infrastructure or adding new additional switches to the infrastructure. So really deploying what's needed within a space and removing the manual component to that. Catalyst Center allows you to be able to schedule the device refreshes, deploy standard configurations that you would have within your environment. So removing the complexity of having to manually go into each of these switches and do manual configurations via the CLI or command line interface. So really being able to have that management console to be able to refresh devices, deploy devices, and as well as take advantage of the plug and play features. So being able to essentially plug in a switch, it be able to pull down that device configuration, now install it, and be able to bring that device online, and then be able to connect all of those endpoints within that space. So really being able to streamline, simplify, and then also visualize all of the components that I now have in my networking architecture. Taking a further look into the image management portion of Catalyst Center, by bringing all of this infrastructure into that uniform management platform, now we can be able to visualize what components have which images applied to them, and then be able to schedule those to make sure that my entire network is compliant, that all of my patches have been applied to any of my switching infrastructure, and then begin to upgrade as needed. So being able to deploy images in bulk, being able to look at different images, whether it be in your core and distribution or whether it be on your access layer, really taking all of those switches, that component, the architecture, and now being able to visualize that and be able to deploy that in a very simplified and uniform fashion, as well as being able to make sure that each of these images are scheduled and being able to look at how I'm going to be able to deploy that and with minimal downtime as I go to upgrade my images on my switching infrastructure. If we go ahead and log into our demo environment for Catalyst Center, as we begin to log in, this brings us to our initial splash page. So this is where we can look at the assurance that we have on our network snapshots of the number of devices, any sort of sites that we have associated with this, and network profiles, our endpoint analytics. The list can be a little bit customizable, but this allows just a very high level view into what my network has and its performance. So if we move on over through our tree into our plug and play portion, this is where we're able to bring on devices as soon as they come onto our network. So define our device credentials, accept the end user license agreement, define the networking parameters, the profile, import any software images that might be associated with there, and then being able to onboard those devices, whether it be a single device, devices in bulk, or directly from my smart account. So there's multiple avenues to be able to onboard those particular devices. We'll take a single ad, for example, right now. This is where we enter our serial number, our product ID. So this is the switch version that I would be onboarding. I'll choose a 24H in this example. And then the device name that would have. So this is the switch name that you would be installing. So really they're looking at simplifying the onboarding of those particular devices. And then once that's finished, that device is, once it's plugged in, is now brought onto our network. So simplifying as we purchase to installation, that entire workflow. Now we'll go ahead and go back to our dashboard. And then from here, we're going to click on design, where we're going to look at our software image management, or SWIM. And then from here, this looks at our image repository. Right now we're looking at all, but we can go to the device types, whether that be a router, switch, wireless controllers, sensors, and virtual devices. If we go and navigate down to a 9300, we can see that the 9300, we have 9 devices. We have 1 image for those devices, and any sort of advisories that might be associated with this device. As we look into the 9300 series switch, we can see that our verified image is 1712. This is our gold image. So this is our image that we're going to be deploying throughout our specific environment. And then as well as those advisories. So on the previous page, you saw that there was 1 critical advisory. So being able to see that in a very dashboard-friendly type of environment. Our roles and tags, major revisions and major versions that are on here, so 17, 12, and 11, and whether I have any gold images tagged to those particular devices. So really simplifying everything and putting it in one very nice package.
Thank you, Ryan. The Cisco Catalyst Center Issues and Events Dashboard is your central hub for monitoring and understanding network activities. It acts like a network nerve center, offering you with a consolidated view of potential problems as well as network events. These dashboards can be accessed through the Assurance tab under the main menu of the Catalyst Center platform. In this slide, I will specifically highlight the Event Analytics dashboard. As a network admin, having an interactive and a comprehensive events dashboard is crucial for managing your overall network performance, security, as well as troubleshooting issues effectively. The events dashboard should provide you ideally with a powerful visualization of network events, offering you with that valuable insight into various aspects of the network operations. And this includes you identifying the performance bottleneck, being able to detect any security threats, and also being able to troubleshoot any connectivity issues. The events dashboard under the Assurance tab provides you with that full contextual view of your events for devices such as like routers, switches, wireless controllers, and access points, and also your endpoint devices. This features automatically presents event details triggered by various interconnected devices, streamlining that troubleshooting process and also offering you with that comprehensive event data in real time. It also able to highlight critical events needing immediate actions and empowers admin to take that prompt action. And additionally, the interactive nature of the dashboard allows admin to kind of like explore events, accessing very detailed information, and as well as facilitating a timely resolutions when they're dealing with the instance. Furthermore, the dashboard's analytics capabilities enable admin to identify the trends over time and recognize recurring issues, as well as proactively being able to implement preventive measures. So leveraging these powerful visualization tools, the admins can really strengthen the security, as well as optimize the network performance and ensure there is an uninterrupted connectivity for all the users. Let me now talk about another feature. By default, Cisco Catalyst Center Assurance module monitors as well as collects telemetry data about all the SSIDs on the wireless network. However, there might be scenarios where you don't want to monitor all the SSIDs in your network. Example, an admin wants to focus on monitoring only critical corporate SSIDs, and he wants to filter out all the data for the known critical SSIDs. And in such scenarios, you might want to turn off the monitoring for those non-critical SSIDs while continuing to collect the rich data for only corporate SSIDs from the same infrastructure. You can turn the SSID monitoring on or off for specific SSIDs without changing the configurations, or wireless without interrupting the wireless connectivity. This won't affect how the SSIDs work on the access points perspective, and also from the client perspective, they can still connect to both the monitored as well as non-monitored SSIDs. Clients on the monitored SSIDs will definitely have a detailed data available on the Client 360 window of the Catalyst Center platform, but for the SSIDs that are actually not monitored, detailed data as well as charts will not be collected by the Cisco Catalyst Center Assurance module. As nowadays, more and more devices are being powered through PoE and getting connected to the network, having a central management platform that offers clear information about the PoE devices is absolutely essential. Cisco Catalyst Center, as part of the assurance feature set, includes specific functionality called PoE Analytics. It provides you with the detailed information about all the PoE devices as well as the switches that are powering these PoE devices. This feature facilitates a comprehensive monitoring of the PoE devices, strategic planning for the PoE infrastructure, playing a critical role in the efficient management of intelligent or modern building. I'm going to invite my colleague Ryan Casey to demonstrate the PoE Analytics dashboard on the Cisco Catalyst Center platform.
So from our Catalyst Center dashboard, we will navigate to Assurance and then our PoE dashboard. From here, this is a collection of all the Power over Ethernet relevant information on our switching infrastructure in Catalyst Center. Our AP power savings, what we're actually saving via turning power saving mode on our access points, our power save mode distribution, so those are the ones that either are supported, unsupported, and the ones that are enabled and not. And our PoE insights, being able to look at which devices have perpetual PoE enabled as opposed to not enabled. So looking in here, as data begins to be collected from here, as these devices begin to have perpetual PoE enabled on them, they will come into this dashboard. Looking at our port density in terms of PoE, so what we have available, and our operational state distribution as well. So our total number of powered devices and the status of those devices. So on an hour by hour, minute by minute basis, we can begin to look at each of these connected devices in a very cohesive fashion, and as well as the power usage of our entire infrastructure as we begin to bring all of these solutions back into the switching infrastructure. PoE lighting, PoE shading, HVAC, as well as our traditional IT endpoints. All of these devices now can be brought into that unified management console in Catalyst Center and then begin to be reported on.
Moving on to SecOps, we will first take a look at enhancements made to the LAN automation feature within Catalyst Center. The main pain point we are trying to solve with these enhancements is making it easier for our customers to bring up automatically routed access networks quickly. We do this by allowing up to 5 simultaneous LAN automation sessions across multiple sites. With zero-touch onboarding of up to 5 plug-and-play ready switches and a dedicated LAN page for LAN automations, users of Catalyst Center are enabled to deploy networks more easily and quickly. Users can also add or delete Layer 3 links through this feature, allowing them to better manage the links through customization. Some dependencies for this feature to know about are that it is only supported by the 2.3.7 and newer releases of Catalyst Center. A user cannot have simultaneous sessions within the same site, and for each session, the seed devices and LAN IP pools should all be different from one another. Now I'll pass it on to Ryan to talk about policy management for devices.
We log into Catalyst Center. From our dashboard, we're going to go over to our policies dropdown, and then our group-based access control. From here, we're able to look at all the policies that we have within our environment. So our security groups, or SGTs, our ICE profiles that are imported through Identity Services Engine. That's our main avenue to be able to have all of our policies. And then any Stealth Watch host groups that we would bring in as well. So uniform distribution of all our policies. Going through policies, this is our matrix to where we're able to really simplify looking at any permit or denies that we would have in any of the policy groups. We scroll on down to our employees. We'll be able to look at, we're denying employees to auditors, and then we're blocking any malware from auditors back to employees, really simplifying that implementation of those policies. From our security groups, these are our SGTs. We're able to take all of these groups and based on our policies from ICE, and then now we're able to take the security groups, create tags for them. And as we go to our contractors, that has a tag value of 5. So as these devices come on and they are within my contractor security group, all of that traffic will now have a tagged value of 5, and then really being able to simplify those policies and enforce those policies within the architecture that I have. Clicking on security groups, I think this is a really cool visual tool. We're able to really look at the contractors, being able to visualize how, whether a printer, what groups they're able to be able to talk to on the destination side, and really looking at where my sources are, those devices, and then what devices do they really need to talk to, and then being able to enforce those policies as well. So anything that might become out of band, we're able to understand that doctors coming onto this group shouldn't be talking to any devices that are within the lighting destination groups or the printer destination groups. There's really no need for that. And the developers having access to those particular devices as well. It's really looking at the entire matrix and the workflow of how all of that is done. And on the ICE side, we're looking at our ICE profiles coming from Identity Services Engine. So if you look at all of the particular devices, solutions that I would have, so HVAC profile or PACS, so being able to see who and what needs to talk to which security groups. So really looking at what devices need to talk to what and making sure that all of my infrastructure is secure. If we log into Identity Services Engine, so this is the main mechanism to where all of those policies are coming from. And the really interesting thing about this is that now that I have a central management console, a central point for all of my policy enforcement, I can begin to look at securing that infrastructure. I can be able to simplify ensuring that these devices are complying to all of my policies. And this dashboard allows you to look at the types of authentication methods that each of the either devices or end users are connecting with, the network devices that are here, as well as the endpoint. So it gives you a full picture into the types of devices, the percent devices, and then that is now mapped back into Catalyst Center to be able to have those particular security groups and profiles applied very simply and seamlessly into the infrastructure. One thing I'll also add too is in Identity Services Engine, we're able to very seamlessly through integrations into the Meraki dashboard, be able to share those policies. So not having to create custom policies for each type of infrastructure that you might have. This seamlessly shares the policies created in Identity Services Engine over into the Meraki dashboard to be able to be visualized and enforced in any of the Meraki infrastructure as well. Catalyst Center really takes an API first approach. Simplifying the management, simplifying the onboarding, simplifying the maintenance of your networking infrastructure is what Catalyst Center does. And then being able to take that simplification and being able to expand that into an API-driven environment. So looking at whether you want to bring the assurance on the PoE side, so as we bring those connected infrastructure, PoE blind, shading, endpoints, HVAC devices, we now can take those devices and then share them via an API. So really looking at expanding the value of Catalyst Center. So not only on the management portion, but also on the reporting function, the integration function. So being able to have native integrations to ServiceNow, being able to generate tickets to your field staff or to maybe maintenance staff because a device isn't functioning properly. This really creates an ecosystem to where simplification and efficiencies are gained through that API-centric approach.
Thank you all so much for joining us for today's episode of the web series. If you just joined us today for the first time, please make sure to check out our previous episodes on YouTube. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to register for future episodes of the web series. Please make sure to come back next month for episode 7 of the series, where we will be covering information and security operations.